I always wanted to have my own business. So that was November of 2022. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to freelance. Let me see if I can get some work. I realized as I was going through this process that my creative side needed to come out. Just tell your story with authority, but with authenticity and be real. People still decide to buy based on emotion, followed by logic. Well, the honest truth was that AI was present when I was building the company. People think that you can plug one thing in, put one prompt, and it will create this whole video, 3-minute video. It isn't. I'm also saying the AI needs the human in the loop to function and to execute.
Welcome to How I Started podcast. My name is Hiram, and today's guest has built a startup to $10 million and then now has ventured off to help other entrepreneurs and business owners just really dial in their ask engine optimization and other things that are super important in marketing. So I'm super grateful to have you on the show. Daisy, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Hiram. Thank you.
Good. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you get into business? What made you take that big challenge of going into a startup and really dialing in the processes that they had in order to scale it to 10 mil?
Well, that company was a healthcare staffing agency. So I've had over 15 years of just healthcare staffing and 10 years of general staffing before that. So this was right after COVID, but it was more for contract nurses or hospitals. So I had the opportunity where somebody recognized the talent that I had. I used to manage MSP accounts, meaning that I handled large healthcare systems in Southern California, like USC Keck, Cedars-Sinai, multi-healthcare systems. Then a healthcare organization that had 47 hospitals throughout the country wanted to start their own agency, and that's how I got discovered. So we scaled up from 0 nurses to 147 nurses within 6 months. And then we're able to scale up within a year to build, make a revenue of $10 million. So.
That's dope. I like it.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love it. What made you take another big leap from leaving your corporate job where you knew everything was structured into creating your own entity and scaling this?
Well, the honest truth was that AI was present when I was building the company. I was using AI. We've been using AI for a long time, for our Siri, through our Alexas. Those have been AI and other forms of technology, right? We're using AI. What made me jump out of corporate was I always wanted to have my own business. I realized as I was going through this process that my creative side needed to come out, meaning at that time, before all these AI creative apps came out, I was ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So that was November of 2022. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to freelance. Let me see if I can get some work for digital content, for social media, blogs, whatever it was. So I went into Upwork and Fiverr. And then got a couple of clients here and there. Had an e-commerce client to help build a website and kind of generate some social media content. Got into TikTok, grew some followers there, but then I never really pursued it. Anyway, long story short, as I was going through the process and as some new AI technology was coming out, I realized that the digital marketing space was getting tighter and more competition. What is going to make me different in the AI space of marketing that nobody's thought about?
And what did you discover that was?
I discovered I belonged to this group, a company that was yelling, screaming out loud that SEO is dead, AEO is in. So that took my interest.
Yeah.
And I started researching it and going, wait a minute, not only is ChatGPT out, Gemini is out. Now we've got Perplexity, which is, technically a RAG. And then you've got Claude.
Yeah. And Grok and
there's hundreds of them that are all over the world that we just don't know about.
Yeah.
Commonly used are those 5. And now you got Copilot on top of that, right? So if they're searching for answers, more likely they're going to be researching companies and finding out about companies as well.
Yeah.
Then it made me think, what are the parameters that they look for to recommend a company? In the browser space, like Edge and Google, you have, SEO or tags that you have to look for, and you get keyword searches. Whereas in the LLM space, or I call AI, you talk more naturally and ask a lot more questions, not really questions, filters to the questions that you have.
Yeah.
So that made me really curious about what parameters are they looking for to be recommended. And that's what started my journey with make sure that you're seen and your humans' questions are being answered by
Yeah.
LLMs.
I like it. And then, so when you were looking up the big differences and applying the different filters, because it's true, I definitely go into I ask Google completely different than I would ask ChatGPT, and then now I know Google has Gemini, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Google has Gemini, so I find myself in Google asking more elaborate questions, and really going into detail. What are some big things that stand out when it comes to optimizing the AEO?
The big things that stand out when doing AEO is that, first of all, you can't pay AI to get sponsored for you to appear as a recommended
Yeah,
source, right? In
it's a source
Google,
of truth.
it's a source of truth, really. So AEO, SEO in the browser world, you can pay to be seen, to be clicked, but at the same time, they recommend your name as a paid customer, but they don't really recommend you as why you're showing up, why you're the best, why you can help customers. So now with the Google putting that AI portion on top, that's where you need to be seen as opposed to the bottom part. So the difference is that you are going to be vetted based on your actual authenticity, expertise, and authority in your space.
I like it. So, with that being said, how do you help founders that are launching companies or new products, um, like really get dialed in? And how do you determine whether it's more important for AEO or SEO? Like, what are the big differences first, so everyone understands? And then, how do you know what to prioritize?
Very good question. It actually, SEO is not going to be dead. Okay, because we're still going to need citation sites through the web for AEO to recommend or vet a company or a brand. So the best way that I can answer that is if you're launching a new product or a brand, you have to be able to um, set up your brand. So a lot of it's going to come to branding, which is similar in the space that you do. Making sure that you have the right content that talks about your product and service. Every time you speak about your product or service, make sure you're answering a question. Meaning that an example would be instead of just listing your services, like saying these are our services, right? And then you start listing them out in boxes or in bullet points. It really then you start that. For example, in the digital marketing world, content creation, blog creation. Typically, that's how people would put their answers, right? Because it's easy to see, it's bulleted. But when a human asks a question through AI, they're not just asking for what are your services, but they're saying, who would you recommend that would give me the best service or has the best reputation for digital marketing in Las Vegas?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I love about interviewing like AI starters or founders is that they think in if this then that statements, and then they really go deep into the funnel, and they have a great understanding of like what leads to what. And I know when I was doing research that DW Concepts has like a really clear and defined offer. Is that something that you started with or something that evolved from the demand?
Oh, it evolved from the demand, knowing that I am not going to get, there's space for me in the digital marketing world. I can just be a regular, marketing agency that does everything, right? But I needed to have a niche. I needed to make a difference to people need to start looking at how people are going to use technology in the future. The future is now. People don't see that now.
Oh yeah.
People still say, "Oh, I've got ways to go. I'm not
Only
ready for
retrospect will you know.
exactly." And it takes a while for it to happen too. It's not a set it and done type of system either because you're constantly massaging and AI is going to be looking for current information, current credentials, and your current authority in that space. So if your website, and you probably experienced this with your branding for a lot of companies, even the biggest companies that you probably work for, some of their websites, they maybe massage it and put, you know, fresh content on some parts of the pages, but not the entire website.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So your rebranding is going to be really important, how you're going to be answering questions. It's no, I do not, I can do aesthetics for how your page would look like in colors, but AI doesn't see those. AI looks at content.
Yeah.
AI looks at the value you're giving the human being.
Yeah. So with the future being now, like what would you say to founders that are in business that haven't like really prioritized this? Why is it important to implement now? And then what are some steps that maybe they could take on their own to get the process started?
Absolutely. Well, what they need to start doing now is look at their website and look at it and say, am I answering people's questions about my service? Am I giving them information about how I've helped a company change or made a change in somebody's life, depending on what service you have or product that you have? Do I have authority in this space? You got to look at those. Are the questions I'm asking right now, are these showing up on your web pages?
Yeah.
Just like you would get a branding person who would want to do all the beautiful things, right? But when you do their content, make sure that not only are they looking good and what they do, but they have value being offered to the humans that are asking.
Yeah, you said that it's developed into this clear offer. And at first, when we launched the Pod Lab, right, it was a mess. It was a podcast studio. There's no money in podcasts. We were having a bunch of random people. Therefore, we couldn't like really dial in how we help them. So our company was failing. I decided to move to Arizona. I was the first hire for Cardone Ventures events team with Grant Cardone, Brandon Dawson. And what we found is that there's a method to the madness. There has to be, right? So when I came back and rebuilt everything, it was a focus on getting those core questions answered, right? Who's your ideal client avatar? How do you want to sound online? Like, what's your brand voice? What's the customer journey? Like, if someone comes in, they click on an ad, like, what does it look like from start to finish?
Yes.
And then because what I noticed just having conversations with hundreds and hundreds of business owners, like no one even thinks about that. They're really good at plumbing. They're really good at roofing. They're really good at whatever field that they used to be in and then now have a business in, but they avoid answering the tough questions, right? And bad things happen to good people because they can't have hard conversations and they don't spend enough time with the problems that they have.
Absolutely, and you know this very well. As I was able to scale up a business to $10 million. Having your own business is very different because you had resource. I had resources. I had a marketing team. I had the HR department. I had my recruiters, right, that were doing all the interviews and all the other things that go in, are in between. As an entrepreneur, solopreneur, and founder, with the help of AI, you're able to make employees with technology using, basically AI got hyped into this big thing and commercialized to be this robotic thing that is going to take over jobs in the world.
Yeah.
It isn't.
Yeah.
It isn't. So AEO still needs the human to be human, to tell their story the most authentic way. And that's what you always probably tell your clients.
Yeah.
Let's tell your story
Yeah.
with authority, but with authenticity and be real, because that's what people are going to be engaged with, is that they feel it, they see it. People still decide to buy based on emotion,
Yeah.
followed by logic.
Absolutely.
And so if you hit that right trigger and telling your story, they're more likely to listen to you and what your journey has been.
Yeah.
And how you've helped other people. So the reality is AI can amplify and help you and make you sound good. But if you're not authentic with the delivery of your story and how marketing companies are representing you, then you have another problem. That's just part of it. But the main thing, to your point, is as solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, if you don't have a marketing plan, you're not going to succeed. If you're going to go, oh, I'm just going to build a business, I'm going to sell.
Yeah.
And people think sales and marketing are the same, but they're totally two different things.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also fulfillment, and then also the finance part of it, and then also the people part of it. And 97% of businesses fail because entrepreneurs don't know what to focus on. With so many things that we could tackle, like it's going to take a village to really, complete all these tasks. And as a solopreneur, man, we're wearing too many hats. we're being firefighters instead of surgeons and actually like diagnosing the problem, going in with a clear intention and executing against the plan.
And that's what I want to help, you know, solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, because they don't have the resources. They are stuck there. You might have all the skills. You might have 10, 15 years of executive experience. Like, I can run a business. I've done, you know, public speaking and all that kind of stuff. And then when you sit down and go, okay, I have AI that's helping me. And a lot of people switched over to being consultants
Yeah.
because of AI.
Yeah.
But then the reality becomes very different as they sit there. Then the you know, their ego becomes big because AI is also pumping them to go, oh, you can do this, you can do this. But if you don't know how to use AI properly to give you the right steps and lead you, and if you don't have the strategy to put into AI to help you grow, you're going to fail. You're just going to think AI gave me all these answers. But guess what? You still need to execute what AI gives.
Yeah. And that's a great point. And this is like a framework that I developed just, you know, failing and trying to scale and trying to help everyone and not really like niching down and being all over the place, right? So the way that I got back on track is first I assess the situation. I figure out what the pain points are, what's gonna hurt me, what are the possibilities, who are my resources, what are my resources. Once I have all that information, then I go into deciding what I'm gonna do. Right? I kill off all other options and I just focus on doing this one thing. Then after that, we create a plan, right? And if it's not in the plan, I don't touch it because it's not in the plan for a reason. And once we have the dialed in plan, once we've decided, once we've assessed, now we execute. Before I went straight into execution and that never works, right? Because what are you executing? You're just going to get distracted by the next shiny object, you know?
Exactly. And I focused on the AI world as well because it's also difficult with AI to try and tell people about it because it's a non-tangible item. It's a concept. It's an idea. Right? But it's an idea that could work when you plug it in to the technology. So I had to come up with how will people listen to me and what products can I create so that people can understand and know that the steps to be seen by AI. So with the research and study comes with, all right, if I was a brand and I ask AI, what are the parameters you're going to be looking for to recommend me? So that's how this research started. Then it gave me the data sets that they're looking for. And everything leads to being human, what I call the human markers.
Yeah. And so with our whole process, I walked you through it earlier. We have 5 labs. We walk them through all 5. They need the first 4 in order to work with us on the 5th one, which is our continuity offer where we step in as your fractional CMO, right? So the first one is the Assets Lab. We just get dialed in on all the stuff you haven't thought through yet, or maybe you have, but it's been a little sloppy.
Correct.
We spend 10 G's in like software and stuff like that to make sure that we have a good output. Then we move on to the branding, make sure that you look like an executive brand online. Then we move on to the website, so it actually converts and it becomes your sales floor. Then we move into 5 strategic videos. And the 5 strategic videos I got from spending 10 years working for the most famous dealership in the world. I was a DSM over there. And it's just the sales process, right? The first video is just the meet and greet, the founder video, right? Who you are. You give them a little story behind like how you came to building your company. Then we do a homepage video, which is like the fact, find, and qualify. Hey, this is exactly who I help. This is the problem I help solve. Then we do the pitch, which is the VSL. Then we do frequently asked questions, which is overcoming the objections that they have. Then we do a testimonial compilation that proves that you deliver. So now you have the other customers selling for you.
You pretty much touch everything that AEO needs to be happening in the AEO space as well. The difference, it's not a difference, it's actually the same. The FAQs are very important. FAQs are no longer what are your hours, right? That's what we typically used to see. What are your hours of operation? What is your address? I mean, you don't need to repeat that. It's already should be in part of your contact information. Or, you know, how much is your plan? How much are your packages cost? People are not going to look at that pricing anymore. They're going to look at what value do you bring. And so to your point, if you have all the different 5 different videos that you do are the exact same things that people are going to need to do to brand.
Yeah.
I don't touch some of that space because, like you said, I don't have the equipment to help them. But what I sit down with them with, but I sit when I sit down with them is, oh, it's really more of a CMO. Let's talk about how AI is going to be able to find you. So I focus on that space. I'm not, there's enough business to go out there. But let's say you have a client and go, hey, I really need to be seen and be recommended by AI. You do your thing. I've partnered with other companies and say, hey, Daisy, how do I integrate AEO while I'm branding this company?
Yeah.
So it's not it's a competition, but not at the same time.
Yeah,
Make sense?
absolutely. Yeah, it's just providing the assets that you need in order to move them from curious to convert.
Correct. And so we create this plan, this branding plan on the AEO space and also the basic stuff that we need. I ask discovery questions, branding questions about their clients, their personas, right? The typical objections that you're gonna get. Why are you different? If you were this lady that I talked to, I can tell she was into brand names. I said, if your brand was a signature brand name first, what brand would you be? First answer was Louis Vuitton, Gucci, all that kind of stuff. So similar things that I have to go through that everybody in the branding or the CMO space does, but I focus on how are we going to answer the questions for humans?
That's it.
What schemas do we need to put into our FAQs so that AI can crawl in there and go, I have content for you to recommend to the human. Your services, are they asked by questions instead of making statements or bullet points? So the structure in the way you create it on your website relies also on there's an art form to it
Absolutely.
for AI to find it.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you get to exercise that creativity because that's what you're looking for. And I want to touch base. You're the founder and CEO of DW Concepts. And then also you have LumaPath, right? Is that like a subsidiary to DW?
Yes. So DW Concepts is basically started as a digital marketing agency. It still is a marketing firm, but I'm consulting with it. So that was all the regular products. Then, like I said, I needed something tangible for people to understand AI marketing or AI visibility. So I created LumaPath.ai, which is all the products under AI and AEO. Meaning, I first started with let's create a guide and transparency for people in the professional services world, what they should be looking for and what little questions I need to ask AI to see if they're going to be recommended. A little teaser, right? And then from there, I'm going, you know what? Let's be transparent. Let me create a workbook of what my research. The workbook is really cheap. Nobody's buying it, but the concept is I'm going to be transparent so that you'll know the steps it's going to take. You can do it yourself. Here's the workbook for $25. And then if you have any questions, then you can book a consult with me and I can walk you through that step.
Yeah.
So that's one of the products. Then I decided, wait a minute, I'm doing this manually for a client right now as I'm doing my research and also building my own credibility for LumaPath and DW Concepts. I have more success on LumaPath because that's what I'm pushing right now. So the next step is I like to build stuff and I'm a visionary. So I started building an app. It first started, there's a lot of trial and errors in the last 6 months. First I came up with, and it's still sitting there, an AI content generator for the healthcare space. It's HIPAA compliant. It's sitting in the back burner right now.
Coming soon, guys.
Coming soon. So because I also have to take advantage of my experience in the healthcare space.
Can't let it go to waste.
No.
All that time.
And then think about it. Private practitioners, they're the last ones to think about marketing.
Yeah.
How are patients going to find them? What are patients going to be looking for to find the new generalist or, an OBGYN? How can I make a difference in the Las Vegas market so that patients can find you?
Yeah.
That's my next step.
I like it. Yeah. And we work with a lot of doctors. So once it's done, come see me and we could definitely roll it out because that is a big thing. Physicians, they're all focused on their clients. And then now they also have a staff. Being a physician is crazy, and owning your own practice, there's just so many moving parts and they need all the help that they could get for sure.
Absolutely. And what more you have to be, and a lot of people ask a lot of health questions as well. Right? Although there's going to be some changes in some of the LLMs where they're not going to be fully, but they will still ask general questions. When they ask a general question about the symptom, then they start asking about who would you recommend in my zip code?
Yeah.
or that has done this practice after they do the research on whatever it is, an illness or a procedure or just wellness
Yeah.
itself, right? Is your practice going to show up that you have content
Yeah.
that answers those for humans here in Las Vegas?
Absolutely.
And so that's one part of it. But the biggest thing that I created right now, it's called the AO Insights, that LumaPath.ai. What it is, it's actually an app where you get a free assessment. So I have a framework and a methodology that I've created. So there are going to be companies out there saying they do AEO optimization that can help you be seen by AI. But if you look at their website or ask them the question, what's their methodology around it?
Yeah.
Or what is your framework that will take me from step A to step B to be seen? They will probably say, oh, we do one part of it. We do your schemas. We do what they know us out there. But what I've developed is like from start to finish, it's going to be very, very visible from you. So I've created this thing called architect. So each letter of that word architect means something to be seen by AI using the foundation that AI uses, which is the EEAT. So the main thing is that you're basically going to get a McKinney or a Deloitte and Touche type of reporting once you pay the premium report, and we'll go you step by step. Okay, this is what we found. Your heading needs to be changed. We know that. SEO schemas are also going to be included in that, what we've discovered and what we found. And there's a section in there also that says, this is what ChatGPT looks like. This is what Grok looks like. And this is what we saw that why you're not showing up in these LLMs. You don't have to show up on all of them, because some of them are not going to have that function. An example would be, I'm not big on the Copilot piece. Why? Microsoft uses it in corporations and enterprises.
Yeah, it's more internal, behind the scenes operations.
So for them to be able to crawl and go outside of their own security measures within their own IT, right, it's going to be very difficult. But if there's an opportunity for you to show up, we'll definitely get you there. So depending on your market and where you want to be seen and what are the commonly used AI for do the searches, that's what we're going to focus on. We can't do everything, just to be honest, to be transparent.
So this is a two-part question. Okay. So what problem did you run into over and over again that made you decide, man, I got to do this, right? And then the second part is, how could clients get access or business owners get access to this AI that does all the heavy lifting for you?
So one, they just need to go log into my website and they'll be able.
What's the website?
It's called AEO Insights .lumapath.ai. And actually, ironically enough, LumaPath means light the way.
I like it.
So, one of the stuff that I put on my website is like, let us help you light the way for your business or your marketing. The reality is you have this tool that will take you step by step as a DIY kit. And then from there, it's going to be overwhelming. Even I get overwhelmed with some of the things I have to do to be seen and to be answered, to answer questions to AI. So the offerings are do it yourself for, very minimal cost. You're going to go through the steps. You're going to get a couple of hours of consulting with me, because I'm just going to hand you a piece of paper or a report that you're just going to go, oh my God, what is she doing? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. I have to offer some insight on what those are, where you're going to do your checkpoints are, when can you start being seen by AI? I also have to kind of do a check-in on these DIY kits so that I'm not doing them a disservice. So that I can understand and feel, and because there's certain parts in it that are really true branding, that even though I tell them you need to put your credentials in, or this is how you have to ask the question, this is how you have to put your FAQ, it doesn't come naturally for a lot of people. Right? We have to think about how that's going to be structured, and then you have to put a schema around it. So ultimately, as a marketer, the goal is, here's being transparent, do it yourself, do it with me, or I'll get it all done for you. Those are three simple things.
Easy peasy. Yeah, we always say there's an ass for every seat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Learn that in the car business. But yeah, people are at different stages, and you just want to give them the option to do it themselves if they're stubborn and they really want to learn the product and learn how to do it. I learned that I don't like learning everything. You know what I'm saying? I just want people to just come in and deploy their expertise, So AEO.LumaPath.
AEO Insights.
Oh, AEO Insights. Okay, cool. And I'll make sure that I tag it below. That way everyone could go in there and create light the path.
Yeah, exactly. Let us light the path for you.
And then, so what was the hardest part about building DW Concepts and then going into LumaPath?
The hardest part was really how do I compete with all the digital marketers that are out there that has a lot more experience than I do? What is my differentiator?
Mm.
And why, what do I need to think about to be different? So DW Concepts is there. I'm more of a consultant, really more than, your freelancer type of thing. And even when I use the technology for AI, I'm not just let me plug something in, let me put a photo, let me put a prompt in there, and then it will create videos, in which a lot of us are playing with it.
Yeah.
Or people think that you can plug one thing in, put one prompt, and it will create this whole video, 3-minute video. It isn't.
Yeah.
People talk about the Soras and all the bananas, the nanos, and all that kind of stuff. They're little clips. You have to put them all together. So when you see somebody in social media put this all together, that makes it look like it's one AI. It's not.
Yeah.
It's taken them hours to put that 2-second, and this.
Yeah.
A 30-second video can take 3 hours to put together.
Absolutely.
Because you have to read that right second. You have to read that right caption and the right, pace. So I still do production style type of for my own ads and for my own, marketing, and even for my clients. I just don't do plug and play kind of situation with AI like most people do. And I see all these influencers that go, I developed this app for this client, and now I just made $3,000 for a dentist who can use. I just built a website for $3,000 for this dentist, and then they don't give an example of what that website looks like.
Yeah.
I can also build an ad in 30 seconds.
Real quick.
Yeah, but
easy.
But does it talk?
Is it going to convert?
Does it convert? No.
Is it going to build trust? Is it going to walk them through all the steps that they need in order to feel comfortable giving you a call?
That's right. So I'm saying AI is there, but I'm also saying the AI needs the human in the loop to function and to execute.
Yeah. So what advice would you give someone that's like 6 months behind you? They're building an AI app, not the person that just built it in 30 seconds and then now is selling it for 3,000, but someone that actually cares and is thoughtful about their delivery.
The biggest advice I would give, if you are talking to somebody that can promise you the world in minutes or in seconds, is that really, number one, what experience do they have that they're offering that they're going to build within that 30-second app build or website build that they're going to do? Or let's say it's going to take them even a week of building a website. If they don't ask the right questions, meaning like, do they understand your brand to build it? Do they understand the type of clients that who you're building this website for? Are they answering? Have you solved any issues? Are you talking about your product and services and how they add value to the human being? Little things like that. Typically, when it's too good to be true, it's really too good to be true.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they haven't put enough blood, sweat, and tears into it in order to make it good.
No, and all you're gonna hear is like it will be done immediately and it will look so nice and you'll have all these steps. And then go AI it, and this is what I'm gonna show you what you need. Like being a true marketing and a business consultant.
Yeah.
Marketing is more than just marketing. You have to understand business.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's more than just making beautiful things.
Yeah. Yeah, does it work? Does a beautiful thing work?
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
So I know marketing for your own marketing business could be a little ironic, but how did you break out of the I'm too busy building everyone else's brand and business and start focusing on marketing your own?
A lot of late nights or early working through the mornings.
Yeah.
Really being able to put in the time. It's when you say I own my own business and go, oh cool, you have your own business. It's not sick. You worked almost 24 hours a day. As bad as that sounds,
Yeah.
it's pretty much it.
Yeah.
What, when you first started, 5 hours of sleep maybe?
Yeah.
A night?
You know what? I have a big vision, and that big vision isn't getting any smaller. Therefore, the work has to be done. And it doesn't matter when you do it. but you got to do it. And if you don't spend all that time working on your business, then it's just going to prolong your success.
Yeah, the other thing too is hiring the right people.
Yeah, it takes a village.
It takes a village. So I know I wasn't going to be able to execute everything that AI gave me, right? So where do I need the most help? So I hired a VA who's been with me now for almost 2 years. She's super wonderful. I had to say that she had the right mindset for me to train her and groom her to do the stuff and how I want content to be seen. So giving that up and actually training and in investing time on those people that's what made me help balance of doing my marketing and also the build. So because my app is constantly needing to be assessed, I'm trying to build more on top of that app so that it can actually do everything as opposed to me doing some of the manual stuff.
Yeah,
for doing a project.
Yeah.
Right?
So with your big vision of helping businesses optimize their AI search before their competitors even know that it's a thing, right?
Yeah.
What does that look like in a year?
In a year, you should be seen by Gemini, ChatGPT, very, very much so. You're gonna get recommended depending on the questions or the brand or product that you have. Um, but in that year, you're also gonna feel more confident about yourself because you've spoken your truth and that's what you're delivering to, like I mentioned, AI can make you sound good, give you all the right words to say. But if you can change the name of that company and slap it with another name of a company and still sound the same, that's AI.
Yeah.
But if you are telling your truth and that's how you're talking to in front of a human and delivering your podcast in the most authentic way possible because it's your truth, it doesn't matter how many ways they ask the question, it's still going to have the same answer. AI is the same. It doesn't matter how you ask the question.
Yeah.
You should still come up as a recommended source.
Yeah, and you still got to put your energy behind the answers that you give AI, and you give it your context, your truth, and then now it delivers something that's custom to your ideal client avatar,
Okay.
something custom to how you help businesses solve these problems.
Yes, it's going to be so unique the way you're going to answer that.
And it has to be because people, and that's the reason why we created the process at the Pod Lab also, is because everyone sounds the same. That's why we incorporate these videos. That's why they can't even work with us unless they do the first 4 labs, because people like skipping steps. People like just getting to market and they think that everything's going to go good. But if you don't define everything up front, if you don't spend the time thinking about how to articulate your business and the problems that you help solve, you're lost in the sauce.
Correct.
It's going to be playing firefighter all day.
You're basically telling a story every time you talk to a client. You are telling a story of your use case.
Yeah, exactly.
And use case is a real story about what happened and how you solve the problem. That's all it is. That's what a case study is.
Absolutely. And we need case studies. We need proof that you know what you're talking about.
And that's one of the contents you need to have a lot of on your websites, your blogs. Believe it or not, blogs are making a comeback.
Yeah.
For AI.
Oh yeah. I'll share this with you, and then I have one last question for you. Okay. So you wrote a pamphlet, right? And then you went to market. You said no one's bought it yet, but you took the time to actually think through everything and deliver it in a thoughtful way, right? So when Brandon Dawson partnered up with Grant Cardone, the very first thing that Grant said was a requirement was that Brandon had to write a book, right? Hey, you have to write a book, because he just wanted him to dump all his expertise into one source, right? And then from there, they developed all the marketing. They did everything. And I did the same thing, right? Model, mimic, master is what I learned from Brandon Dawson, and that's my model. Therefore, I'm just going to take all the steps that work for him, throw my own twist in it, and then, deliver it to the public. But what's one thing that you would share with a business owner that's maybe like working super hard? They're not sleeping, right? They're busy running around their business. They're not running their business, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to marketing, what's one piece of advice that you would tell them to do this week in order for them to make success more achievable?
Honestly, know yourself. Second, know your mission, vision,
and core values.
Because that's going to be what's going to ground you, and that's going to keep you aligned. things are going to come at you. Oh, you're going to doubt yourself. Or I'm in this. I doubted myself a few times, but then I had to go, wait a minute. I had to research, making sure I had no competition behind me still. Right. Going, nobody's really touching this space. Nobody's really out there. Every competition that I see is one part of it. Is there an app out there that's kind of talking about that they have? This one, I saw one on TikTok where she calls it the dual web, which makes sense, right? Good use of words.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. But it's really not a web.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's how people are going to relate to it.
Exactly.
And then when I went and tested it, okay, there were some cool pieces with it. But when I looked at the actual content it produced, I had to have people that knew about my app to go, what do you see great about this app that is not all in my app? So, well, this is all just numbers. It doesn't really explain to me, because yours have a lot of content that explains step by step and why. And I'm actually telling a story on the workbook on week 1, week 2. I'll tell a story about Sarah Chen, is a cardiologist that came to me and said, hey, my patient, I'm not getting as much patients, and I'm not showing up on Google on the top anymore like I used to. And I said, well, it's because AI started to take over.
Yeah.
And I said, let's do a search. If you see, you've been around for 15 years, you're known in this zip code. You're known amongst this big healthcare systems, right? But healthcare systems can only know you, but you want patients.
Yeah.
You want new blood to come in. The hospitals can recommend patients, but that's different type of marketing. It's all internal. The point is, when we did the search, who would you recommend cardiologist in your zip code? She did not come up.
Yeah. And it's, you know what? It's harder work to win now. You know, it takes more. There's new assets that exist out there that other people are focusing on, and you're just focusing on your patients.
So the main thing is, if you understand yourself, stay true to it. Make sure you also have a plan when you create that mission vision. It might sound nice and fluffy, but make sure it's in your core.
Absolutely.
That you practice and live it.
Yeah.
So I always talk about being human, always just being authentic. Just speak your truth.
Yeah.
You know, are you going to offend people? You might offend some people based on your views, but you're also talking about, your lane, and that you're sticking to it, because I did the research and I have proof that it works.
Yeah. So focus on choosing your lane.
Correct.
Dialing in your mission, vision, core values. And then now that you have some time, invest it into understanding your own business.
Yeah. Create your plan.
Now create your plan. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So how can the guests find you on social media or your website?
Sure. Just LumaPath.ai is the main website, and it will take you to all the products. So if you don't remember AEO Insights, it will take you to, there's my services are listed there. DW Concepts is still there. I'm actually rebranding DW Concepts, but if you do go in and look at DW Concepts with a Z at the end instead of the S, the first thing you're going to see is, what does DW Concepts do?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big question.
Absolutely.
Instead of just going, DW Concepts, digital marketing agency. Okay, so you're just not another marketing agency, but what do you do?
Yeah, you're just going to be, the bounce rate's going to be crazy if you don't find that.
Exactly.
So I found you on LinkedIn. Do you also have like an Instagram or YouTube?
Oh, I do have a YouTube channel, not a lot of subscribers yet, but LinkedIn is my main source, because that's where a lot of people, business owners. So I'm heavy on LinkedIn. So on my LinkedIn, I do have a DW Concepts LinkedIn page, but mainly I do with Daisy Watkins. You can look me up as Daisy Watkins.
Awesome. Well, it's been so great having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate everything that you've shared, not only with me, but with the guests that are going to be watching this. So thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.